Hello everyone. I once again welcome you all to this lecture series on AI, and I hope you all are fit and fine. And it is very important that you take all safety measures and be safe in this pandemic time. So there are some rules and regulations that we must follow. Yes. So let's come back to our today's session. We will have a quick recap of our previous session. In our previous session, we have discussed briefly about the history of artificial intelligence, then types of AI, or you can say stages of AI. Then we have learned that how AI has evolved from just scratch or zero to at present where we are standing with AI. And then we have discussed about the preparations in India regarding AI, what all strategies and what India thinks about artificial intelligence. So, what are we going to learn from today's session that we will see? The first thing that we will learn about is various programming languages that are used or that can be used for artificial intelligence. Then we will also have a basic introduction to Python programming language and about artificial intelligence tree. So these all things we will learn, try to learn today. So programming languages for AI. So there are n numbers of programming languages which can be used for artificial intelligence. And so let us see what all programming languages we can use. The first programming language that we can use for artificial intelligence is Python. Okay. It is also known as the most preferred programming languages for artificial intelligence, and it is also known as the best choice for AI. So many software programmers or software developers who are using AI depends on Python very much. Okay, so they prefer Python more than any other programming language. The second language which we can use for artificial intelligence is our statistical programming language. As the name suggests, it is mainly used for statistics, that is for data. Okay, so as we all know that we use a large set of data in artificial intelligence, and to draw an insight for that from that data, एक डेटा को अगर हम लेते हैं और उसमें अगर हम ट्रेंड्स और पैटर्न्स को अगर हमें जानना है पहचानना है तो हम कुछ स्टैटिस्टिकल टेक्निक्स यूज करते हैं. इस वजह से आर 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 स्टैटिस्टिकल प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज का यूज हम कर सकते हैं एआई के लिए. The third language that can be used is Prolog, which is generally used for medical applications. Okay. So we can use Prolog as well for artificial intelligence. Then there is Lisp, which is also called as the oldest, and it was created by John McCarthy himself. You may all know him. In our previous session, we have discussed that John McCarthy was the one who first coined the term artificial intelligence. So John McCarthy खुद से ये लिस्प प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज को क्रिएट किए और according to him it is the most suited programming language for artificial intelligence. Then there is Java. You may have heard about it. So Java is another programming language which can be used for AI. Then there is C++. Yes, we can use C++ as well for programming or for making AI applications or AI models. and there are many others such as MATLAB, Julia, etc. So there are n numbers of programming languages that can be used for artificial intelligence. But as I have said earlier, Python is the most preferred programming language by software developers or software engineers who are dealing with artificial intelligence. They prefer Python the most. Okay, due to its various features, इसमें इसके कई खासियत हैं, इसके कई स्पेशलिटीज हैं, जिसके वजह से पाइथन को ही ज्यादा चूज किया जाता है एआई के लिए, which we will discuss in our future slides. So let's move ahead to our next slide, which is for introduction to Python. Here we will have a basic introduction to Python. So as we all know now that Python is one of the most preferred programming language for AI. So let us know why AI is used in AI. Python is used in AI. So Python was created in the year 1989 by Guido van Rossum, who was a Dutch programmer. And in the early stages of developing this programming language, while he was looking for a suitable name for this his programming language, he was also reading published scripts for कॉमेडी सीरीज इन द 1970s. उस वक्त जबकि वो इस लैंग्वेज को डेवलप ही कर रहे थे, साथ साथ में वो एक कॉमेडी सीरीज जो 1970 के 1970s के जो एक कॉमेडी सीरीज था, मॉन्टी पाइथन्स फ्लाइंग सर्कस, इस कॉमेडी सीरीज का पब्लिश्ड स्क्रिप्ट को पढ़ रहे थे और वहीं से उनको आइडिया आया दैट ही शुड यूज द नेम पाइथन फॉर हिज programming language, and he named the programming language as Python. Since it was unique, it was attractive, he used Python as name of his programming language. So Python is a dynamic, high-level, free, open source and interpreted programming language. Python जो है एक dynamic है. Dynamic इसलिए कहते हैं because ये अभी progress ही कर रहा है. People are adding many other features and many other dimensions to it. इस वजह से इसे डायनामिक कहा जाता है. Then Python is also known as a high level language, free, open source and interpreted, which we will discuss in our upcoming slides or in features of Python very well. Okay, so features of Python. So there are some features of Python that makes it very much special, and that's why software developers, engineers prefer Python more than any other languages at present. So the first feature of Python is that it is very easy to code and easy to learn. Okay. Python is easy to learn as compared to C language, C++, JavaScript, Java, etc. And it is very easy to code in Python languages, and anybody can learn Python basics in a few days, and that is why it is also known as a developer friendly language. Okay, so there is a key feature of Python that it is easy to learn and easy to code. The second feature of Python is that it is free and open source. You can download it without any cost freely from its official site www.python.org. And since it is open source, this means that the source code is also available to the public. आप सोर्स कोड जो होता है उसको भी आप इजीली डाउनलोड कर सकते हैं इसी के साइट से, and you can download it as well as use it, and also you can share it with others. So uh, it is very important a feature of Python that makes it very special, that it is free and open source. The third is object oriented programming language. So Python is object oriented programming language. So all different programming paradigm such as functional programming, object oriented programming, and procedure oriented programming. Python supports all programming paradigm, and one of it is object oriented programming. So in object oriented programming language, we target the concept of classes and objects encapsulation. Okay. So एक example के लिए we try to solve real world problems here. In Python we do what we do, we try to solve real world problems with the help of virtual solutions. अब ऑब्जेक्ट क्या है? ऑब्जेक्ट ओरिएंटेड प्रोग्रामिंग है, ऑब्जेक्ट पे डिपेंड कर रहा है, बट ऑब्जेक्ट क्या है? सपोज आई एम रिकॉर्डिंग अ वीडियो, आई नीड कैमरा. So for my problem to record a video, I need a camera. That is, camera is the object of my problem solving. Okay. Again, if I have to call someone, I need an object. To call someone to solve this problem, I have to use an object, that is phone, smartphone or any mobile phone. So similar way, in Python, what we do, we try to target the object of the problem. Objects can be anything related to the real world, and we try to solve it in the virtual world. Okay. So this is how object-oriented programming language works. Fourth is GUI programming support. So what is GUI? That is graphical user interface. Okay. Let's break it into three terms: graphical, user, and interface. So what is interface? Interface is where two things meet and interact. Suppose हम कभी किसी व्यक्ति से मिलते हैं और जब हमारा उससे इंटरेक्शन होता है, बातचीत होती है, that is interface between the both of us. So this is interface. So now what is user interface? UI. When user interacts with a device, अगर मुझे कोई कैलकुलेशन करना है अपने कैलकुलेटर पे और जब मैं उसके इनपुट देता हूं और मुझे आउटपुट मिलता है, दैट इज यूजर इंटरफेस. यूजर मतलब मैं, और इंटरफेस जो मेरा इंटरेक्शन है उस डिवाइस के साथ. नाउ व्हाट इज ग्राफिकल यूजर इंटरफेस? Graphical user interface helps users to interact with computer or smartphones or mobile phones. अब यहाँ पे ग्राफिकल यूजर इंटरफेस का अगर सबसे बेस्ट एग्जांपल है, अगर आपके पास कंप्यूटर है तो उसमें आप देखे होंगे कि आइकन्स रहते हैं कंप्यूटर का या कोई और एप्लीकेशंस का. तो वो जो आइकन होता है ना, वो मेनली आपके और उस कंप्यूटर के बीच में एक इंटरफेस का काम करता है, where you click on that icon and interact with that computer device. So with the help of Python, uh, graphical user interfaces can be made using modules such as there are so many modules such as pyqt5, pyqt4, wx python or tk. So these all modules can be used to create your own graphical user interface, and pyqt5 is the most popular option for creating graphical apps with Python. So with the help of Python, you can develop your own graphical user interface as well. Okay. Next, fifth is high level language. So इसे जानने के लिए सबसे पहले हमें ये जानना पड़ेगा कि लो लेवल लैंग्वेज क्या होता है. सो लो लेवल लैंग्वेज और मशीन लैंग्वेज, यानी कि वो लैंग्वेज जिसके लिए आपको पहले से स्किल डेवलपमेंट की बहुत जरूरत होती है. In low level language, the language is mainly in binary language, zeros and ones. अगर सपोज आपको कुछ बताना है, इंस्ट्रक्ट करना है कंप्यूटर को, मान लीजिए आपको केवल एक नेम कंप्यूटर को बताना है, अमित. So that Amit will not be written as AMIT, but in zeros and ones. So that is a low level language. But in high level language, you can see and read एनी अगर एक प्रोग्राम का स्क्रिप्ट है और कहीं भी बीच में आप जाके अगर उसे रीड करना चाहे, यू वांट टू रीड द प्रोग्राम एनीवेयर एट एनी पॉइंट, यू कैन रीड इट बाय योरसेल्फ, बिकॉज वो सिंपल जो हमारे भाषा में रहता है, लैंग्वेज में रहता है, उसी में ही रहता है. So high level language are mainly used to make the programs more simple, more easy and simplified form. So Python has again this feature. It is a high level language where we can easily read and write our programs and codes in the language we know, not in the binary language that needs a certain skills or learn pre-learning. Okay. Sixth feature of Python is extensible feature. So in extensible feature, we can write some Python codes into C, C++ language, and also we can compile that code in C or C++ language. हम Python में ही कोडिंग कर सकते हैं और इसको उठा के हम C या C++ में ले जाकर वहां पे इसको एग्जीक्यूट कर सकते हैं, कंपाइल कर सकते हैं. दैट मेक्स इट एक्सटेंसिबल. एक आप थोड़ा सा एक्सटेंड कर सकते हैं अपने पाइथन प्रोग्रामिंग. इस वजह से ये फीचर है, दैट इज एक्सटेंसिबल फीचर विच इज प्रोवाइडेड इन पाइथन. सेवेंथ इज पोर्टेबिलिटी और पोर्टेबल. तो पाइथन इज अ पोर्टेबल लैंग्वेज. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, इफ वी हैव पाइथन कोड फॉर विंडोज, अगर आप विंडोज ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम वाला सिस्टम यूज कर रहे हैं और उसमें आपने पाइथन में कोडिंग कर ली है, एंड इफ यू वांट टू टेक इट टू सम अनदर प्लेटफॉर्म which can be Linux, Unix और MacBook, वहां पे भी आप इस प्रोग्राम को रन कर सकते हैं जो आपने विंडोज में कोडिंग की है. सो पाइथन इज अ पोर्टेबल लैंग्वेज. Eighth is integrated language. Python is also integrated language. So what is integrated language? We can easily integrate Python with other languages like C, C++, etc. So हम क्या कर सकते हैं कि इसका मर्ज भी हम कर सकते हैं दूसरे लैंग्वेजेस के साथ, चाहे वो C हो, C++ हो और कोई एक्सेट्रा जो लैंग्वेजेस हैं उनके साथ हम इसको क्या कर सकते हैं, मिला सकते हैं. So that is why Python is also known as integrated language. Ninth, Python is interpreted language. Okay. अगर आपने C, C++, जावा या ये सब लैंग्वेजेस को आपने अगर पढ़ा है या जाना है, then you will know that in those languages you cannot execute programs line by line, but in Python you can execute programs line by line. एक अगर लाइन आप लिखते हैं, कुछ प्रोग्राम का इंस्ट्रक्शन अगर आप लिखते हैं पाइथन में, तो उसके तुरंत बाद ही आप उसको एग्जीक्यूट कर सकते हैं, रन कर सकते हैं. But in programming languages such as C, C++, and Java, you have to first write the whole set of programs of your problem, and then you have to compile it. उसे पहले compile करना पड़ता है. Then you will have an option to run it. But in Python you can execute line by line. एक line लिख के आप उसको execute या run कर सकते हैं. This makes it easier for us to debug. हम बीच में कहीं भी अगर कुछ error हो तो हम उसको क्या कर सकते हैं, debug कर सकते हैं. But whereas in other languages you have to write the whole set, compile it, run it, then you have to see that where the error is happening, and there you can debug or correct the codings. So Python has a feature that it is interpreted language where we can execute or debug or run line by line. 10th is that Python has large standard libraries. Okay, so in any time you can call or import from that libraries such as Panda. There is NumPy for mathematical operations. There are many libraries such as skitlearn. So आपको ज़्यादा coding करने की ज़रूरत नहीं होती. You don't have to code much in Python. You can um, always uh, call for library and import library functions from there, so that it makes your coding a little bit easier. The last point is dynamically typed language. Python is also known as dynamically typed language. अगर आपने कोडिंग पहले की है तो आप सी या सी प्लस प्लस में देखे होंगे that you have to first define a variable, that it is a integer or a string or a float etc. अगर आप कोई एक वेरिएबल डिनोट करते हैं that suppose x is equal to 1, you have to first define that x is an integer. Okay, but in Python we don't have to define the variables in advance. It automatically defines or specifies the types of variable while we are typing the variables. Okay, जब हम variables को लिखते हैं that x is equal to 1, वो automatically खुद define कर लेता है कि हाँ ये एक integer है. या फिर अगर हम x को एक कैरेक्टर शो करते हैं, सपोज इन्वर्टेड कॉमास के अंदर में अगर कोई नेम लिख देते हैं या हेलो लिखते हैं, then it automatically identifies that the given variable is a string. So these all features जो हम अभी देख रहे हैं, ये पाइथन को बहुत स्पेशल बनाता है, easier बनाता है, और easier to code, easier to learn, and this all makes it very handy for software developers. uh, ताकि इसीलिए it is one of the most preferred programming languages at present. So in our future sessions, we will try to know more about Python and do some practicals over Python programming. At the same time, with artificial intelligence. Okay, so let's move forward to our next slide, which is artificial intelligence tree. And here you can see AI tree and its branches. So AI has its subfields. Here you can see machine learning, natural language processing, expert systems, speech recognition, vision, robotics, and planning. So these all are subfields of AI. Okay. In our future sessions, we will try to deal with every branch or nodes in a brief way separately. But today, let us have an overview of this AI tree. The first subfield you can see here is machine learning. Okay, so we know that humans learn from their past experience. Yes, अगर मैं पूछूं कि what will we do if you see a utensil over a gas stove? Do you go and touch the utensil? Yes. अगर मैं आपसे कहूँ कि एक गैस स्टोव में एक बर्तन है और गैस का जो बर्नर है वो चालू है, क्या आप उसे जाके छुएंगे? एंड आई थिंक ऑल ऑफ यू विल नॉट टच इट. यस, व्हाई? हो सकता है कि पास्ट एक्सपीरियंस में आपने गलती से उसे छू दिया हो और आपको पता चला है कि whenever you touch something hot, it burns your hands. Yes. So this is past experience. So humans learn from their past experience and decide whether to do or do such things or not. Yes. In similar way, We humans train the machine. Yes, we humans train the machine to do certain tasks. But what if we train or make a machine to learn from its past experience? अगर ऐसा हो कि हम एक ऐसा मशीन बना दें जो खुद अपने पास्ट के एक्सपीरियंस से सीख के from learning from its past experience, if a machine makes future decisions or makes some decisions on the basis of its learning from the experience, then this is known as machine learning. So, machine learning is a subfield of artificial intelligence where we feed data to a machine and that machine learns. First, it will try to make a decision out of that data and learn from that data and try to implement and make a decisions on what it has learned from the experience. Okay, now again machine learning has a subfield which is known as deep learning. So deep learning is a subset of machine learning, and deep learning is inspired by the structure of human brain. जैसे हमारा human brain होता है उसी से इंस्पायर होके ही ये डीप लर्निंग का कॉन्सेप्ट आया है. So deep learning structures algorithms. Okay, you may all know algorithms. Algorithms are set of instruction or techniques. So what we do in deep learning structures algorithms into artificial neural networks without human intervention. जैसे हम ह्यूमंस का ब्रेन होता है और उसमें कई सारे एक न्यूरल नेटवर्क होता है, उसी तरीके का डीप लर्निंग में भी सारे एल्गोरिदम को स्ट्रक्चर करके लेयरिंग करके उनका एक आर्टिफिशियल न्यूरल नेटवर्क बनाया जाता है. So what is difference between machine learning and deep learning? फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर हम एक बास्केट ले लें जिसमें टोमेटोज हैं, पोटैटोज हैं और अनियंस हैं, and suppose if we are training a machine using machine learning, okay, to uh, identify and differentiate between every vegetable, that is that machine is able to identify between a tomato and differentiate between a tomato, potato and onion. So इसके लिए हमें क्या करना पड़ेगा? अगर हम मशीन लर्निंग का यूज कर रहे हैं, then we will have to feed some features and train the machine with some features of these vegetables. हमें इन सारे जो वेजिटेबल्स हैं, टोमेटो है, पोटैटो है या अनियन है, उसके कुछ स्पेशल फीचर्स उसको ट्रेन करने पड़ेंगे मशीन को. फॉर एग्जाम्पल वी हैव टू ट्रेन द मशीन विथ size, color, or texture, etc. Okay, so that the machine can identify based on the size, color, and texture of a vegetable that tomato is a red colored, a juicy one, and it has a green stem, etc. So इसमें हम humans का थोड़ा बहुत जो intervention होता है, but what what will happen if we try to identify same problem using deep learning? जब हम deep learning का use करेंगे तो उसमें हमारा minimal intervention होगा. डीप लर्निंग का जो न्यूरल नेटवर्क का आर्टिफिशियल न्यूरल नेटवर्क का एक जो लेयर होता है, दैट विल ऑटोमेटिकली आइडेंटिफाई द डिफरेंस बिटवीन टोमेटो, पोटैटो एंड अनियन, एंड इट विल make or classify these vegetables into clusters by its own without any human interference or human intervention. Okay, सो यही डिफरेंस है मशीन लर्निंग और डीप लर्निंग में, कि एक में थोड़ा बहुत ह्यूमन का इंटरवेंशन होता है मशीन लर्निंग में, और डीप लर्निंग में बिल्कुल भी, लगभग बिल्कुल भी नहीं होता. Then there is natural language processing. So natural language processing on an or NLP is a branch of AI that gives machines the ability to read, understand and derive meaning from human language. जो भाषाएं हम यूज करते हैं एक दूसरे से बात करने में, उसी भाषा को पढ़ने के लिए, समझने के लिए और उससे एक बेसिक इंफॉर्मेशन निकालने का जो काम है, जो एबिलिटी है, वो प्रोवाइड करता है नेचुरल लैंग्वेज प्रोसेसिंग. ओके, सो व्हाट एनएलपी और नेचुरल लैंग्वेज प्रोसेसिंग डज इज, एनएलपी combines the field of linguistic and computer science to decipher language. ये एनएलपी क्या करता है कि लिंग्विस्टिक्स और कंप्यूटर साइंस को मिला के वो कोशिश करता है लैंग्वेज को डिसाइफर करने का. ठीक है. एंड यू कैन सी हियर देयर आर इट्स सब फील्ड्स ऑफ एनएलपी: टेक्स्ट जनरेशन, क्वेश्चन आंसरिंग, कॉन्टेक्स्ट एक्सट्रैक्शन, क्लासिफिकेशन, machine translation, etc. Then there is another branch of AI which is expert systems, or in simple words we can say this is decision making. Okay, so in expert systems we make a system that uses human expertise to make complete or complex decisions. हम expert systems में एक ऐसा system डेवलप करने की कोशिश करते हैं जो खुद से ही कॉम्प्लेक्स डिसीजंस लेने के लिए ट्रेन किया जाता है. ओके, सो in simple words we make a decision making machine in the branch expert systems. Next is speech recognition. So you may have used Google Assistants, Alexa, Siri. These all application uses this branch of AI, that is speech recognition. Whenever we instruct or give whenever we give a voice instruction to such gadgets, Google Assistants, Alexa, Siri, Google Home, it tries to first recognize the speech or instructions we are giving, and it converts it into text. Then it makes or comprehend what we are saying, what our instruction is, makes a decision, and that's how speech recognition works. Okay, you can see here speech recognition has two more subfields, that is speech to text and text to speech. Then the fourth, fifth branch of artificial intelligence is vision. Okay, so human vision is amazingly beautiful and complex, and we humans have a visual system. हमारे पास एक visual system होता है where we have eye to capture light. हमारे पास आंख है जिसमें हम लाइट को कैप्चर करते हैं, फर्स्ट प्रोसेस है. सेकेंड प्रोसेस में हम क्या करते हैं, the brain cells or receptors in the brain try to access it, जो लाइट कैप्चर हुआ है उसको एक्सेस करता है. एंड द थर्ड, विजुअल कॉर्टेक्स फॉर प्रोसेसिंग इट. तो ये एक ह्यूमन विजुअल सिस्टम होता है. सिमिलरली we try to make a machine we make a machine to see images, process them and analyze them, to extract meaningful information from them. This work is done under branch vision of AI. AI के और आप सब फील्ड्स अगर देखना चाहते हैं तो देख सकते हैं, मशीन विजन, इमेज रिकॉग्निशन, ये सारे भी इसके सब फील्ड्स हैं जिसके कारण जिसका यूज करके हम क्या करते हैं, मशीन्स में एक कंप्यूटर विजन या उन्हें हम एबिलिटी देते हैं जिससे वो किसी इमेज को रिकॉग्नाइज करते हैं और उसके ऊपर हम क्या कर सकते हैं कि इंफॉर्मेशन लेके उसके ऊपर वर्क कर सकते हैं. सो दिस vision or computer vision is a branch that comes under artificial intelligence. Then another branch is robotics, and it is a domain in AI which deals with the study of creating intelligent and efficient robots, where we use electronics engineering, electronics engineering, mechanical engineering, computer engineering together to build a robot. Okay, and the last is planning, or to simply put forward, planning is arranging a sequence of action to achieve a goal. Okay. अगर हमारे पास कोई प्रॉब्लम है तो सबसे पहले हम क्या करते हैं कि we try to process a few computing steps of a problem and solving procedure before executing any of them. हम किसी भी प्रॉब्लम को लेके सबसे पहले उसके जो प्रोसीजर है उसको डिफाइन करते हैं और उसके बाद क्या करते हैं हम उनको एग्जीक्यूट करने के लिए फिर आगे कदम बढ़ाते हैं. So it is about the decision making tasks performed by the robots or computer programs to achieve a specific goal. Basically हम प्लानिंग में क्या कर रहे हैं, हम एक डिसीजन मेकिंग रोबोट्स तैयार करते हैं जिसमें हम कुछ प्रॉब्लम्स लेते हैं और सबसे पहले उसका एक पूरा प्रोसीजर हम डिफाइन करते हैं ताकि एक स्पेसिफिक गोल या एक स्पेसिफिक सॉल्यूशन जिसको हम खोज रहे हैं उसको हम पा सकें. So these all things we will discuss in our future sessions, particularly and topic by topic, separately and briefly. Okay, so that will be all for our today's session, and I hope it will help you to understand AI better. Thank you all for watching this video. Do take care, and we will meet soon. Thank you.